Hidden strength. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the viewport of orbital defense platform Sierra 7, watching Earth's modest space fleet conduct its regular patrol. The collection of small, chunky vessels would have been impressive 2 centuries ago, but compared to what she knew existed among the stars, they looked like children's toys. Another quiet day watching our little boats float around, Lieutenant Zhang said, joining her at the viewport. Sometimes I wonder why we maintain this charade. Elena turned to him, her weathered face marked by years of military service. Because appearances mattered, Lieutenant. The galaxy thinks we're technological infants, and that's exactly how we want it. For over 80 years, humanity had maintained this elaborate deception. After detecting signals from multiple advanced civilizations, Earth's unified government had made a strategic decision: appear weak while building strength in secret. Every spacecraft visible to outside observers was intentionally outdated, functional but unimpressive. Meanwhile, deep within Jupiter's shadow zone, humanity's true fleet grew. Incoming transmission from UNDF headquarters, announced the communications officer. Priority Alpha. Elena straightened her uniform. On screen, Admiral Hassan's stern face appeared on the main display. Commander Reyes, our long-range sensors have detected an approaching fleet of unknown configuration. First contact protocol is now in effect. A ripple of tension spread through the command center. After decades of preparation, the moment had finally arrived. Estimated time of arrival? Elena asked. 18 hours, the Admiral replied. Remember your mission. Sierra 7 is our most visible platform. You are to maintain the facade at all costs. Project weakness, gather intelligence, and do not, under any circumstances, reveal our true capabilities. Understood, Admiral. As the transmission ended, Elena turned to her crew. You heard him. Everyone knows their roles. We are a technologically modest species still finding our way among the stars. Let's make it convincing. The alien vessels appeared 16 hours later, 7 sleek, obsidian ships that moved with unnatural grace. They positioned themselves in high Earth orbit, ignoring all hails from the orbital platforms and Earth's ground control. Elena watched them through enhanced telescopes, noting their weapon ports and sensor arrays. Whoever they were, they came armed for conflict. They're scanning us, Lieutenant Zhang reported. Comprehensive sweeps across all spectrums. Let them look, Elena replied. Everything they see is what we want them to see. The scans continued for hours before the aliens finally responded to Earth's communications. The main screen illuminated with the image of a tall, gray-skinned being with 4 arms and compound eyes that gleamed with cold intelligence. People of Earth, it spoke in perfect English, clearly processed through a translation system. I am Supreme Commander Vextar of the Voidborn Dominion. Your world has been selected for incorporation into our empire. Resistance would be futile and unnecessary. We offer technological advancement and protection in exchange for resources and allegiance. Elena followed the script perfectly. This is Commander Reyes of the United Earth Defense Force. We are a peaceful civilization. Perhaps we could discuss terms that would. There are no terms to discuss, Vextar interrupted. We have scanned your defenses and technology. You possess nothing that could prevent our occupation. We will begin landing procedures in 12 Earth hours. Prepare your leaders to formalize the surrender. The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the command center in silence. Well, Zhang said dryly, they certainly took the bait. Elena nodded. Send the coded alert to headquarters. It's time for Phase 2. Deep within a hidden facility beneath the Mariana Trench, Dr. Layla Sharma received the alert. As chief engineer of Project Avalon, she had spent 20 years perfecting technology that would make humanity competitive with any spacefaring civilization. Now that technology would face its first real test. They've made contact, she announced to her team. Typical conqueror attitude. They'd scanned our decoy tech and think we're defenseless. Her second in command, Dr. Kenji Tanaka, looked up from his workstation. Are we authorized to deploy the countermeasures? Full authorization, Lila confirmed. Begin quantum shield activation. I want all stealth systems online within the hour. Around Earth, in deep ocean trenches, remote mountain ranges, and the far side of the moon, humanity's hidden defense grid awakened. Quantum-entangled particles linked billions of nanosatellites in Earth's upper atmosphere, creating an invisible mesh that could detect and potentially disrupt any form of known propulsion. As the Voidborn began dispatching smaller craft toward Earth's surface, they remained unaware of the trap they were entering. In Washington, D.C., United Earth President Maya Collins addressed the emergency session of the Global Council. For 80 years, we've prepared for this moment, she said gravely. Our ancestors made the decision to hide our true capabilities after the Proxima Centauri signals were decoded. They understood that in a galaxy filled with ancient civilizations, a young species would be vulnerable. So we created two paths for human advancement. The visible one, which appears modest and non-threatening, and the hidden one, which has now advanced beyond even our most optimistic projections. The council members nodded in solemn agreement. The Voidborn have made their intentions clear, President Collins continued. They see us as an easy conquest, a primitive species to be subjugated. They're about to learn how dangerous it is to underestimate humanity. Back on Sierra 7, Elena and her crew monitored the approaching Voidborn landing craft. The alien vessels descended with arrogant confidence, making no attempt to evade Earth's seemingly primitive defense systems. They're within range of the quantum grid, John reported. Elena nodded. Activate disruptors. Across Earth's atmosphere, billions of quantum-entangled particles synchronized their states, creating a field of disruption that affected any advanced propulsion system passing through it. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Voidborn craft suddenly lurched, their sleek movements becoming erratic as their engines faltered. On the command ship, Vextar reacted with confusion. What is happening? Why are our landing craft losing stability? Unknown, Supreme Commander, his science officer replied. We're detecting some kind of quantum field interference that wasn't present in our initial scans. Impossible, Vextar hissed. Their technology is primitive. They couldn't possibly. An alarm blared across the Voidborn command ship as new contacts appeared on their sensors. From behind Earth's moon, 3 vessels emerged, unlike anything the aliens had seen in Earth orbit. These ships were sleek, angular, and moved with precision that matched the Voidborn's own vessels. Where did they come from? Vextar demanded. They weren't in our scans. As the hidden human ships approached, they emitted no recognizable energy signatures. Their hulls absorbed rather than reflected sensor scans, making them appear as vague shadows even to the advanced Voidborn systems. Supreme Commander, the communication officer called, we're receiving a transmission from one of the unknown vessels. On Sierra 7, Elena watched as Admiral Hassan's flagship, the UNDF Artemis, moved into position alongside the other stealth vessels. This is Admiral Hassan of the United Earth Defense Force, the transmission began. Voidborn vessels, you have entered Earth space with hostile intent. Your landing craft have been disabled by our defensive grid. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences of your aggression. Vextar's compound eyes narrowed. A deception, he realized. All of it, a deception. Yes, Elena whispered to herself as she watched events unfold. And you fell for it completely, turning the tide. Aboard the Voidborn command ship, Supreme Commander Vextar's initial shock had hardened into fury. Target those vessels, he ordered. Show these primitives the consequences of deception. The Voidborn warships powered up their main weapons, plasma accelerators capable of melting through conventional armor. Energy built up in glowing conduits along their obsidian hulls before lancing out toward the human vessels. But the expected destruction never came. The beams struck what appeared to be empty space several kilometers from the human ships, dissipating into brilliant cascades of light that quickly faded. Impossible. Vextar slammed his lower arms against the command console. What technology is this? On the UNDF Artemis, Admiral Hassan allowed himself a small smile. Quantum phase shields functioning within parameters, his tactical officer reported. The enemy weapons can't penetrate. Signal the Prometheus, Hassan ordered. It's time. Deep within Jupiter's shadow zone, hidden from all conventional detection methods, Earth's true flagship waited. The UNDF Prometheus was the culmination of humanity's secret technological development, a vessel unlike any other in Earth's arsenal. Nearly 5 kilometers long, its revolutionary design incorporated technologies reverse-engineered from fragments of alien tech recovered over decades, combined with humanity's own innovations. Captain Sofia Mendes stood on the Prometheus's command deck, watching her crew prepare for their first real combat operation after years of simulations. Quantum jump drive charge, her navigation officer reported. Coordinates locked. Sofia nodded. Execute jump. The massive ship disappeared from Jupiter's shadow in a subtle ripple of space-time, reappearing instantly near Earth. No flash of light, no energy signature, just the sudden presence of an enormous warship where nothing had been a moment before. On Sierra 7, the Lena and her crew watched in awe as the Prometheus materialized. Even they, as UNDF personnel, had only heard rumors about the mothership's true capabilities. "My God," John whispered. "It's magnificent." The Voidborn sensors registered the new arrival with alarm klaxons blaring throughout their fleet. The human vessel dwarfed even their command ship, its dark hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. "Supreme Commander," the Voidborn tactical officer's voice wavered. "The new vessel. Our sensors can't determine its composition or capabilities. It's as if it exists partially out of phase with normal space-time." Vextar stared at the massive human ship with growing dread. "Hail them," he ordered. Immediately, before any communication could be established, the Prometheus deployed its primary weapon system. Panels along its hull slid open, revealing clusters of devices that began emitting precisely calibrated graviton pulses. These pulses didn't damage the Voidborn ships directly. Instead, they created localized distortions in space-time that placed immense stress on their structural integrity. The smallest Voidborn vessel was the first to succumb. Its hull buckled inward before cracking along structural seams. The crew managed to evacuate to other ships before it broke apart completely. "All Voidborn vessels," Captain Mendes broadcast. "This is Captain Sofia Mendes of the Earth Defense Force flagship Prometheus. You have witnessed a fraction of our defensive capabilities. Power down your weapons and withdraw, or we will be forced to escalate." On the command deck of his increasingly unstable ship, Vextar faced a decision that would determine the fate of his fleet. The humans had clearly concealed their true technological level, a level that appeared to match or even exceed the Voidborn's own. "Supreme Commander," his executive officer urged, "our hull integrity is failing under these gravitational attacks. We should withdraw and reassess." Pride warred with practicality in Vextar's mind. The Voidborn Dominion had conquered 17 star systems without serious resistance. The humiliation of retreat was almost unthinkable. But as another of his ships began showing signs of structural failure, reality asserted itself. "Cease attack," he ordered. "Prepare for withdrawal." The Voidborn weapons powered down, their engines reorienting for departure. "Humans," Vextar transmitted, his voice tight with suppressed rage. "You have practiced a great deception. The Dominion will not forget this." Admiral Hassan responded calmly. "No deception, Supreme Commander. Merely prudence. The galaxy is filled with predators who mistake quietness for weakness. We simply allowed you to make that error in judgment." As the Voidborn fleet retreated toward the edge of the solar system, Earth's hidden defense grid remained vigilant, tracking their every movement until they disappeared into faster-than-light travel. In the aftermath, President Collins addressed a humanity now aware of both the alien threat and their own hidden capabilities. "Today marks our true emergence onto the galactic stage," she declared. "For generations, we maintained the facade of technological modesty while developing in secret. That strategy has served its purpose. The Voidborn will return, perhaps with a larger force, but they'll find us prepared. More importantly, they'll warn others about us. On the Prometheus, now in stable orbit around Earth, Captain Mendez joined Admiral Hassan on the observation deck. Through the viewport, they could see the planet below, peaceful but forever changed by the day's events. "Do you think they'll come back?" Sophia asked. Hassan nodded slowly. "Eventually, but not alone. They'll seek allies, share intelligence about us. The galaxy will know that humans are not the primitive species we appeared to be." "Is that a bad thing? Our secret's out now." "Not entirely," Hassan replied. "They saw some of our technology, but not all of it. The quantum phase drive, the consciousness transfer systems, the temporal buffers, those remain our advantages." He turned to face her. "Besides, there's value in being underestimated, but there's also value in being respected. Today, we earned that respect." As news of the confrontation spread throughout human colonies and outposts, a new era began. Humanity would no longer hide its achievements or pretend technological inferiority. They would step forward as equals in a galaxy that had almost dismissed them as inconsequential. The deception was over. The true potential of humanity was finally unleashed, not just in their technology, but in their strategy, foresight, and willingness to play the long game. In a cosmos filled with ancient civilizations, humans had proven themselves worthy adversaries and potential allies. And somewhere beyond the solar system, Supreme Commander Vextar nursed his wounded pride while drafting his report to the Dominion Council. He had underestimated the humans once. He would not make that mistake again. Next time, the Voidborn would come prepared for humanity's true strength. But so would Earth. And this time, they wouldn't be hiding.